It's that time of the month again. Let's talk about all the releases in July, and I have my most anticipated read coming out this month and another anticipated one, so this month is an exciting one. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, I am Katie. I am a crime and thriller reader primarily, but I will branch out and I do talk about all things general books, but with a little bit of a more crime and thriller based. Anyway, introduction. So I'm here to talk to you about July releases. Now, I'm not going to tell you which, but if you've been around for a while, you guys will know that my most anticipated release is finally due, and I have waited 7 months by the time this comes out for this, but we're going to talk about it in this video. I'm going to try and do these in order of release, but I will put the dates on the screen. These are UK release dates only, so if they do release in the US at a different time, I am sorry. But yeah, let's talk about them, guys, and let's get the boring bit out of the way while I'm here. If you are new to my channel, it would mean the absolute world if you could hit that subscribe button. I wanted to get to 400 by the end of June, nowhere near, but I'm fine with that. I posted maybe twice. But yeah, if you would love to stick around, my content should be increasing over the next month or so as I work towards having 6 weeks off work, guys. So yeah, if you could hit that subscribe button, it would mean the absolute world. Hit that thumbs up button if you are not new here, and thank you so much for joining me. But let's get to what we're talking about here. Let's get into those book releases. So the first book I want to tell you about is Never to be Found by Jo Spain, and this releases July 2nd. So at the time this video's gone out, it's probably already released. But this follows a female main character who basically adapts like something in Japan where you can voluntarily disappear and you will basically be no trace. She brings this to England and she thought she was doing something good. However, it never works out that way, does it? So sometimes people are fleeing hardship. Some people are fleeing from being, something they shouldn't be doing. But yeah, this releases July 2nd. I haven't actually read a Jo Spain, but I have seen Emma from Emma Reads Crime talk about Jo Spain quite a lot, and it is one of her favourite authors. So maybe it is just something that I need to look into. I haven't read a Jo Spain, so if you have, let me know which one, and do I need to add this one to my TBR? I am intrigued by the premise, I have to say. It does sound intriguing, and like I said, I have heard amazing things about Jo Spain, so maybe this is my sign to try one, who knows. But that's the first book coming out in July, and that is July 2nd. Next up, and the final July 2nd release, is The Kingpin by A.A. Dand, and I have added this because I actually picked up The Chemist it wasn't by accident. A friend of mine from work, she was given it when she went to visit a bookshop, and she asked what the guy recommended, and he actually gave away this ARC to her. And that was The Chemist book 1. So as I've just said, The Kingpin is book 2. Fun fact, I've met A.A. Dand back at the back end of last year, and I'm actually about to meet him in July. He's doing another tour, and I love, because he is Yorkshire based, he does a lot of Yorkshire places, more than most do. So I am going with my friend to see this. Like I said, this is book 2. So The Chemist follows Idris, who basically is a pharmacist, and he does support a lot of the, do we call them dodgy? But it is very drug related kind of storyline, and this turns dark. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed the first book, and I probably will pick up the second when it releases in paperback or comes on a good Kindle deal. But this one, like I said, continues on, and I think a brother must get involved, because in the blurb it does mention 2 brothers. Now, I don't remember seeing the brother in The Chemist. Please correct me. My memory of books is not that good. However, Idris Khan is no longer the man he used to be, but how can he be? Murder changes people. I do remember all of this now. And it has changed him. Once a respected pharmacist, Idris now walks a fine line between survival and destruction. He craves something normal in a world gone to hell, but then Zidan, his estranged brother, there we go, walks through the door. Freshly released from prison, Zidan's presence is radioactive. Truths are laid bare, new alliances are formed, and Zidan has an offer for Idris that could blow his whole world apart. He wants him to take over the entire drug trafficking network in Leeds and Bradford and rule together. So this is kind of based in West Yorkshire, and you guys know I'm a Yorkshire girly, so obviously I would read it anyway. But yeah, the way A.A. Dand talked about his books was so good, and I'm really excited to hear him talk about his idea for the second. The first one ended, and both my friend and myself said we did think what was going on here, and would it actually continue. It ended at a point where he could bring out a second book, and he announced it weeks after we'd finished reading it. So yeah, definitely adding this one to my TBR. When I get to it, I don't know, but it's going on the TBR, and it releases July 2nd. Next up is the I've already forgotten, Hot Girl Murder Club by Ashley Winstead, and this releases July 14th. Now, I'm bringing this one to you because I actually read In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead, and I highly rated this book and really enjoyed it, so I did want to have a delve into this one. Wronged women always want revenge, but how far is too far? When powerful men begin turning up dead across Los Angeles, suspicion falls on emerging pop star Scout Sage. Ooh, we've got a bit of celebrity vibe going on. Still haunted by her sister's mysterious death, Scout faces the collapse of her career, her reputation, and her tenuous belief in justice. Assigned to the case is Detective Gray Holloway, whose own history sharpens every judgment. As Gray digs deeper, she uncovers whispers of the so-called Hot Girl Murder Club, a covert sisterhood of ambitious women rising through Hollywood. Women who are done waiting for the men in charge to deliver what's right, bent instead on taking it for themselves. But are they correcting a broken system or creating a far more dangerous one? No, this is going on my TBR. Yeah, this is going on my TBR. Also, the cover is so basic, but so, I like it. I like the simplicity of it. But yeah, that is going on my TBR at some point. Probably not going to be anytime soon, but it's fine. Yeah, I am very much looking forward to that one. That sounds a little bit of me, and I really enjoyed In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. I do know Ashley Winstead's writing can be hit and miss for a lot of people. I've seen Francesca read him, her, I'm assuming it's a him. And I've seen that some books are amazing, like In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, I have seen has come highly hyped. But then the other side of that, I have seen other books by them not be as enjoyed. So yeah, we'll have to see, fingers crossed. But yeah, that one's going on my TBR. Moving on to July 9th now, and Mad Mabel by Sally Hepworth is the next book I want to talk to you about. Now, doing my research, it looks like this has released in other countries and has been out quite a while, because I have seen a few other content creators talk about it, so I do know it has released somewhere, but it is releasing July 9th in the UK. 81-year-old Elsie Fitzpatrick lives a quiet life in the suburbs. Few would guess that Elsie, aside from being a, oh my god, curmudgeon who minds everyone else's business, harbours a secret she's worked hard to bury. Because when it comes to murder, no one ever expects little girls or old ladies. I've seen a few people do this premise. Now, I have, like I said, seen this book being read about, and a lot of people do highly rate it already. I haven't actually read a Sally Hepworth, so I'm more bringing this for your guys' information because I have already seen a little bit of hype around this book before it's even released in the UK. But yeah, it does sound good. I've heard good things. I have put up the UK cover on the screen. However, I know Michaela's already posted her July releases, which I live for. And she's put up a different cover, and I'm assuming that's from a country in which it's from. And it did look a bit better. I must say, this one, the UK one, looks really good for, if you're reading out in public maybe and you don't want people to see the kind of dark books you read. Whereas I think it's the Australian, but please feel free to correct me. This one looks a little more unhinged. So I've put both on the screen at this point. But yeah, releases July 9th, guys. And let me know if you're going to read that one, because I haven't read a Sally Hepworth. Maybe it's an author I need to look into, but let me know. Next up is The Last to Drown by Noelle W. Eilert, and this releases July 16th. Now, disclaimer, there are quite a lot of July 16th releases. So this I have already seen a lot of hype for, and it is coming highly rated, and yeah. So I've seen quite a few people who I follow over on the socials have already read this book and have inhaled it and rated it 5 stars. I have read Ask for Andrea by Noelle W. Eilert, and I did enjoy it. It was a 4-star read, perfectly enjoyable. Was it the jaw-dropping book I was expecting? No. However, I've tried one book. There's always one book you never get on with an author, I have noticed. Let me tell you what this book is about. So 5 days, 20 strangers, 84 miles of white water, and no way out. The rafting trip was supposed to be the adventure of a lifetime, but Kay is starting to think she made a mistake, because ever since the whispers about Camas Creek began, all she has felt is dread. 7 years earlier, a guide murdered a group of rafters on the same isolated stretch of water. The killer's body was recovered downstream, but the true crime community has never stopped asking questions, and for good reason. The incidents start small, a flipped raft, missing supplies and screams in the night, but the pattern is sickeningly familiar, and with 84 miles of white water until any sign of civilization, safety has never felt so far away. That does sound quite good. That premise is actually really interesting. I do want to give more of Noelle W. Eilert a chance. So any recommendations, guys? Like I said, I've read Ask for Andrea, so let me know. Do I just go straight in with the new release, or let me know some of the backlist? I do find the more hyped books I'm struggling with at the moment. I read The Butcher and did not rate it 5 stars at all, and I've seen that's like a lot of people's favourite of all time. What was the other one? Oh, Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. So I'm going in with a bit of caution, but let me know, guys, what your most highly recommend Noelle W. Wiley, because I think I do need to read more of Noelle's writing, but it's just a case of which one I start with. The next book I want to talk to you about is Getting Away with Murder with Shari LaPena, and this releases July 16th as well. I have read a couple of Shari LaPena's books, The Couple Next Door being one, and I did enjoy them, but for some reason I've just never felt inclined to pick up any more. She loves her husband and she might love their house more. Jill and Ted adore their New York brownstone the way others adore their children. They have carefully, expensively made every inch of it their own. It reflects who they are, their status and tastes. With their grand mahogany staircase and state-of-the-art kitchen, it is the stuff of glossy magazines and real estate dreams. It is their sanctuary. So when Ted's inheritance runs out and he makes a bad investment, they panic. How can they protect their beloved home and enviable lifestyle? The answer is obvious, or at least it is obvious to Jill and Ted. The death of one wealthy family member could solve all of their problems. Together they will get away with murder, as long as they trust each other and as long as there are no surprises. Okay, I feel like I did this in a general... So before I started doing these monthly ones, at the beginning of 2026, I actually just did a general release video, crime and thriller release video. And I think I had this one on it. This sounds intriguing. I do like the premise. However, I have just finished Here to Stay by Mark Edwards, and it actually really, really peeved me off because I hated the characters so much. And I feel like I'm going to hate Jill and Ted, but then I kind of have to look at it on the side of, if I hate them so much, they're such well-written characters that shows a lot about the author. So, yeah, I am unsure what to do about this one. But yeah, I read The Couple Next Door and I did really enjoy it, but I haven't read a Shari LaPena in years. So again, another author for recommendations, please. But yeah, I feel like this is going to have a lot of unlikable characters in it. The last of the July 16th releases, and one of my most anticipated of the year, is Out of the Ashes by MJ Arledge. This is book 14 of the D.I. Helen Gray series, and if you guys are new to my channel, you will not understand how much that is a hype for me. I discovered MJ Arledge, I think back in 2024. Or was it 2025? No, I didn't read them all last year. And I am now up to date with the series, and it kills me because this is releasing in hardback first. Can we just talk about that? Why do thriller authors insist on doing hardbacks first? I am not a hardback girly. I do not want to collect them in hardback. You can see by my bookcase, I am a predominantly paperback reader. And it just doesn't go with my aesthetic. And then I have to wait another 7-8 months for the release of the book, or pray it comes on a 99p Kindle deal in the meantime, because I will not buy the hardback. Anyway, so as D.I. Helen Grace's best friend fights for her life, the man responsible flees the country. Oh, yes! This is a massive continuation on from Into the Fire, guys, so I might be careful what I say here, because I don't want to ruin it. I'll read it, but I may stop myself mid-blurb here if I realise it's going to be a spoiler. An international manhunt leads to the Dutch port city of Rotterdam, where crime is big business. With the underworld harbouring one of its own, the local police closing ranks against an outsider and a pair of trained assassins shadowing her every move, Helen is all alone. Far from home and closing in on a killer, she must rely on her instincts, her drive for justice and her thirst for revenge. Can she track down her target before he escapes forever, or will she see her life and everything she loves left in ashes? I also think this series is going to be coming to an end very soon. So for a bit of a random fact, MJ Arledge actually releases, normally he does his D.I. Helen Grace once a year, and then he also tends to bring out another one. Actually, I don't think I've included that in my list. And he brings out another one that is normally with another author. Now, I absolutely adore MJ Arledge, the short chapters. I've done a full thing over on my TikTok. If you want an MJ Arledge deep dive, let me know. I'll quite happily do a video on that. But the joint author ones, his writing's just not the same. But the chapters are incredibly short in the D.I. Helen Gray series. So if you love a detective series, absolutely pick this up. Some of the books have such cliffhangers. And yeah, I am so excited for this to release. Will I read it this year? I've put it on my 26 for 2026 for getting it's a hardback release. However, I am heading to Harrogate in July, so maybe I'll pick up a copy there, get it signed and put it up on my signed editions, which you can't really see in shot here. But yeah, much anticipated release for me, and I'm so excited for it. On to the last 3 books now, and these are all July 30th releases. So the first book I want to talk to you about is The Lizard by L.J. Ross, and this is book 5 in a series, and this is the Summer Suspense Mystery series. Now, I actually have an L.J. Ross on my TBR. L.J. Ross is going to be at Harrogate. Sorry, I feel like a broken record at this point. However, I haven't read a book by them. I do have one that I have been gifted so kindly by a friend at work, and I've heard nothing but good things. There's nothing so deadly as the sea and the man who survives it. Oh, it's... Sorry, just reading the blurb. When the owner of the restaurant isn't whipping up culinary feasts, she volunteers with a local lifeboat crew, a tight-knit team who regularly risk their lives to save others. With no immediate plans to settle down, life is pretty much perfect. Until one stormy night, when a distress signal shatters the calm, a luxury yacht is going down fast and she joins the rescue. Too late to save the vessel, they search the raging seas for survivors, but only find one. A man with no name, no memory, and the power to turn her world upside down. Now, like I said, I haven't read anything by L.J. Ross. This is also on Kindle Unlimited, guys, so if you're looking for a new author and a series to get stuck into, maybe this is the one, because it is on KU. I love how my lady just instigated when I didn't even say her name. Sorry about that if you heard that. But yeah, so excited to get into this author, and yeah, I'll let you know when I've read an L.J. Ross as to whether this one also go on my TBR, well, the series. But it is book 5, guys, in the Summer Suspense Mysteries if you do want to look into the series. Next up is The High Island by Lynn Anderson, and again, a July 30th release, and this was kindly sent to me as an ARC, so I will be obviously putting this on my July TBR. When everyone knows your name, every case is personal. On the rugged island of Hoy, a wealthy couple's dream of building a stunning eco-home becomes a waking nightmare when the peat yields a grisly secret, the remains of a young mother and her baby. For D.I. Erling Flett, the discovery is a personal haunting. He spent years running from Orkney, only to be pulled back to the islands he once fled. As he fights to identify the nameless dead, the community pushes back, his only troubled history begins to surface. At the heart of the mystery lies a lethal family feud over blood-soaked soil. Can Flett finally face the ghosts of his past, or will the island claim its next victim before the truth is told? Now, I haven't actually read anything by this author. I hadn't even heard of this book until I was kindly sent it by Pan Macmillan. So yeah, they're on the social media, so I might have to go and give them a little nosy, but the text is really big, the chapters are reasonably sized, they're about 5 to... oh, this one isn't, oh Jesus. I've just said that and then I've picked up a long chapter, but about 7-8 pages at max. But yeah, excited to get into this one. Releases July 30th, I haven't read anything into it, but come back at the end of July, beginning of August, and I will let you know my thoughts. Guys, I've literally left the best for last. July 30th, my most anticipated release of the year, let alone the month, is One of Us is Guilty by Steve Kavanagh, and this is book 10 in the Eddie Flynn series. So if you are new to my channel, you will not realise that I am #1 fan. Let's just geek it out. Like I said, book 10. So the Eddie Flynn series follows Eddie Flynn, who is a lawyer. He was actually a criminal turned kind of barrister, not barrister, like lawyer, and he helps kind of get people out of sticky situations. Now, these are not the darkest of books, but I love them. I can't believe this thing's the size of my bloody head. But this one is in a broken justice system. You don't need a good lawyer, you need a damn good con man. So yeah, he was a con man, not a criminal, but a con man turned lawyer. And this is the most intense case Eddie Flynn has faced. It also has 10, because it's book 10. Top 5 best... oh yeah. Yeah, and like it literally tells you as well the order of the books in this arc. I am obviously putting this on my July TBR. I am meeting Steve Kavanagh in July, and I mean, I do every year, guys. I've met him for the past 4 years, I think now, and it makes my year to be able to do it. I am so excited to finally meet him again. Hopefully I'll be able to interview him at Harrogate because we have a bit more time on our hands. I don't know, but yeah, excited, guys, to say the least. One of them is... I can't seem to find the actual full blood. Oh, here we go. A perfect couple, but one of them is a killer. Patrick Vanderpool, son of a billionaire media mogul, is destined for power, but the affair he's having could ruin everything. Vanessa Vanderpool married one of America's most influential men and has his own ambitions, but the affair he's having could ruin everything. When the other woman is found brutally murdered, there are only 2 suspects. One of them is guilty, but which one? Conman turned defence lawyer Eddie Flynn must risk his life to find out. guys, add the Eddie Flynn series to your TBR. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you to go straight into book 10, but get this on your radar. I have read all of Steve Kavanagh's books. I have to wait every year for a new one and it kills me. But yeah, I spieled on a bit too long about this, but add this series to your TBR and let me know if you want me to do a deep dive into Steve Kavanaugh, because I will talk about him for hours. But yeah, certainly not, it might be the last book, but it's certainly not my least anticipated. This is my most anticipated of the year, guys. And yeah, get this book added to your TBR. I cannot wait to pick this up and I'll let you know my thoughts. I'm also going to blog this. So if you want to see my reaction to this, I will be vlogging this as a separate video. So yeah, watch this space, and I so love a Steve Kavanaugh release. Guys, that is a wrap on another video. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully some of those books will get added to your TBR. As you know, I have got 3 of those, most definitely are. So yeah, and I've already got more on my radar. But let me know, have I missed any July releases that you're excited about? Pop them in the comments. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me on another video, guys. I know I've said it once, but if you could hit that thumbs up and click that subscribe button, it would mean the absolute world. I have got a lot of exciting content planned with the summer holidays coming up, so watch this space, and thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all in the next video.